Breaking, the FBI is about to collapse after horrifying cover-up has just been exposed. It's starting to look like after 103 years it might finally be the time to disband the Federal Bureau of Investigations and finally put crooked Hillary behind bars. FBI Director James Comey and Robert Mueller have both discredited the name and reputation of the FBI to a point that the organization will probably never regain its good name back. But now, since the Las Vegas massacre, it's so obvious that it just can't be ignored any longer. The FBI is now refusing to release information concerning their investigation of 58 people murdered in almost 3 weeks ago in Las Vegas. President Trump slams reporter Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President, you mentioned Russia. Let's talk about some serious issues that have come up in the last week that you have had to deal with as President of the United States.
Okay.
You mentioned the vessel, the spy vessel off the coast of the United States.
Not good.
There was a ballistic missile test that many interpret as a violation of an agreement between the two countries, and a Russian plane buzzed a U.S. destroyer.
Not good.
I listened to you
Excuse me.
campaign.
When did it happen? It happened when, if you were Putin right now, you would say, hey, we're back to the old games with the United States. There's no way Trump can ever do a deal with us, because you have to understand, if I was just brutal in Russia right now, just brutal, people would say, you would say, oh, isn't that wonderful? But I know you well enough. Then you would say, oh, he was too tough, he shouldn't have done that. Look, all of the things, wait a minute, wait, excuse me just one second. All of those things that you mentioned are very recent, because probably Putin assumes that he's not going to be able to make a deal with me because it's politically not popular for me to make a deal. So Hillary Clinton tries a reset, it failed. They all tried, but I'm different than those people. Go ahead.
How are you interpreting those moves, and what do you intend to do about them?
Just the way I said
Rex Tillerson any advice or counsel on how to deal?
I have, and I'm so beautifully represented. I'm so honored that the Senate approved him. He's going to be...
See, you notice that the way they're asking him, Donald Trump, questions, very disrespectfully. It's more like as if it's an attack, not asking questions. They're attacking him. Do you see the difference? I mean, this is insanity.
Fantastic. Yes, I think that
Is Putin testing you, do you believe, sir?
No, I don't think so. I think Putin probably assumes that he can't make a deal with me anymore because politically it would be unpopular for a politician to make a deal. I can't believe I'm saying I'm a politician, but I guess that's what I am now. Because
I love
look, it would be much easier for me to be tough on Russia, but then we're not going to make a deal. Now, I don't know that we're going to make a deal. I don't know. We might not. But it would be much easier for me to be so tough. The tougher I am on Russia, the better. But you know what? I want to do the right thing for the American people. And to be honest, secondarily, I want to do the right thing for the world. If Russia and the United States actually got together and got along, and don't forget, we're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. There's no upside. We're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. I've been briefed, and I can tell you one thing about a briefing that we're allowed to say, because anybody that ever read the most basic book can say it. Nuclear holocaust would be like no other. They're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are we. If we have a good relationship with Russia, believe me, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
So when you say they're not good, do you mean that they are
it's not good?
No, I read off the three things that have recently happened.
No, it's not good, but they happen.
But do they damage the relationship?
They all happened recently. No,
this country's ability to work with Russia?
They all happened recently, and I understand what they're doing, because they're doing the same thing. Now, again, maybe I'm not going to be able to do a deal with Russia, but at least I will have tried. And if I don't, does anybody really think that Hillary Clinton would be tougher on Russia than Donald Trump? Does anybody in this room really believe that? Okay? But I'll tell you one thing. She tried to make a deal. She had the reset. She gave all that valuable uranium away. She did other things. You know, they say I'm close to Russia. Hillary Clinton gave away 20% of the uranium in the United States. She's close to Russia.
Can we?
And she got $145 million.
Can we conclude there'll be no response to these particular provocations?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything about what response I do. I don't talk about military response.
You see, overlooked that. Once he mentioned Hillary, didn't say anything about that. Even worse is the fact that the statements with evidence are released and then modified just a few days later, and sadly the corrupt mainstream media seems to show no interest whatsoever in even asking the correct questions to try to get to the bottom of this. After all, what do they care if a bunch of rednecks, as they call us, get slaughtered at a country music concert? But after today's developments regarding Russia and the Obama administration, matters are dire. The Hill reports FBI uncovered Russian bribery plot before Obama administration approved controversial nuclear deal with Moscow. Before the Obama administration approved a controversial deal in 2010 giving Moscow control of a large swath of American uranium, the FBI had gathered substantial evidence that Russian nuclear industry officials were engaged in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering designed to grow Vladimir Putin's atomic energy business inside the United States, according to government documents and interviews. Federal agents used a confidential U.S. witness working inside the Russian nuclear industry to gather extensive financial records, make secret recordings, and intercept emails as early as 2009 that showed Moscow had compromised an American uranium trucking firm with bribes and kickbacks in violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FBI, and court documents show. They also obtained an eyewitness account backed by documents indicating Russian nuclear officials had routed millions of dollars to the U.S. designed to benefit former President Bill Clinton's charitable foundation during the time Secretary of State Hillary Clinton served on a government body that provided a favorable decision to Moscow, sources told The Hill. The racketeering scheme was conducted with the consent of higher-level officials in Russia who shared the proceeds from the kickbacks, one agent declared in an affidavit years later. Rather than bring immediate charges in 2010, however, the Department of Justice, DOJ, continued investigating the matter for nearly 4 more years, essentially leaving the American public and Congress in the dark about Russian nuclear corruption on U.S. soil during a period when the Obama administration made 2 major decisions benefiting Putin's commercial nuclear ambitions. The first decision occurred in October 2010 when the State Department and government agencies on the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States unanimously approved the partial sale of Canadian mining company Uranium One to the Russian nuclear giant Rosatom, giving Moscow control of more than 20% of America's uranium supply. When the sale was used by Trump on the Capitol Hill trail last year, Hillary Clinton's spokesman said she was not involved in the committee review and noted the State Department official who handled it said she never intervened on any committee on foreign investment in the United States matter. In 2011, the administration gave approval for Rosatom's 10X subsidiary to sell commercial uranium to U.S. nuclear power plants in a partnership with the United States Enrichment Corp. Before then, 10X had been limited to selling U.S. nuclear power plants reprocessed uranium recovered from dismantled Soviet nuclear weapons under the 1990s megatons to megawatts peace program. The Russians were compromising American contractors in the nuclear industry with kickbacks and extortion threats, all of which raised legitimate national security concerns. And none of that evidence got aired before the Obama administration made those decisions. A person who worked on the case told The Hill, speaking on condition of anonymity for fear of retribution by U.S. or Russian officials, the Obama administration's decision to approve Rosatom's purchase of uranium One has been a source of political controversy since 2015. That's when conservative author Peter Schweitzer and the New York Times documented how Bill Clinton collected hundreds of thousands of dollars in Russian speaking fees, and his charitable foundation collected $145 million in donations from parties interested in the deal, while Hillary Clinton presided on the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States. The Obama administration and the Clintons defended their actions at the time, insisting there was no evidence that any Russians or donors engaged in wrongdoing, and there was no national security reason for any member of the committee to oppose the Uranium One deal. Lies. But FBI, Energy Department, and corrupt documents reviewed by The Hill show the FBI, in fact, had gathered substantial evidence well before the committee's decision that Vadim Makarin, the main Russian overseeing Putin's nuclear expansion inside the United States, was engaged in wrongdoing starting in 2009. Then Attorney General Eric Holder was among the Obama administration officials joining Hillary Clinton on the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States at the time the Uranium One deal was approved. Multiple current and former government officials told The Hill they did not know whether the FBI or DOJ ever alerted committee members to the criminal activity they uncovered. No, they did not. And they got paid off, the FBI. So spokesmen for Holder and Clinton did not return calls seeking comment. The Justice Department also didn't comment. Makarin was a director of Rosatom's Tenex in Moscow since the early 2000s, where he oversaw Rosatom's nuclear collaboration with the United States under the Megatons and Megawatts program and its commercial uranium sales to other countries. In 2010, Makarin was dispatched to the U.S. on a work visa approved by the Obama administration to open Rosatom's new American arm called TENAM. Between 2009, and it goes on. How long is this article? Jesus Christ. You know, you could read this article by yourselves, because this is like just goes on and on and on and on. But also what you could read the article, but what it points to, I think that, remember when from Business News, Fox Business News had Podesta on there, where he denied that he didn't know. I think that's the companies that they were referring to, where John Podesta was involved also in these shares.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
The hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Really?
Thank you. Thank you.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
Sure you do. Look at her face. Look at the smirk on it. Look at the smirk on it. I mean, look at the smirk on her face. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. But you get the gist of the whole thing. All a cover-up. All a cover-up. I should have taken a look at this article before I started and just, you know, gotten certain points in. But this is unreal. 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 Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.